So you love Punjabi.
that's true, that's true. तो ये हमारा 27th एपिसोड है आईपा की तरफ से। और हम लोग मेनी अ टाइम्स खुद करते हैं कि मेनी अ टाइम्स हम लोग बाकी लोगों के साथ एसोसिएट होकर करते हैं, जैसे सीएलसीसी के साथ करते हैं, गीपा के साथ मिलकर करते हैं। जैसे एक कल वेबिनार भी था जिसके अंदर हमारी ममता जी स्पीकर कल भी थी और आज भी हैं। तो ये इस तरह से पर्पस हमारा सिर्फ एक ही होता है कि हम लोग अपने प्रोफेशनल ब्रदर्स को क्या नाम अच्छी तरह से अपडेट दे पाएं और एक दूसरे के साथ नॉलेज शेयर कर पाएं। और हमारी ये इच्छा होती है, इनफैक्ट वी हैव बीन एबल टू इम्प्लीमेंट इट आल्सो फॉर मेनी मंथ्स नाउ, कि whenever there is any changes within 3-4 days we deliberate on it, we discuss among all our IP fraternity, and in fact we communicate our discussion with in WhatsApp group also. We are running a, अगर कोई बंदा बाई चांस नहीं इस समय देख सकता तो he can see our YouTube channel also, recording later on also. So we try to get involved with IP community. तो आज जो है हमारा जो टॉपिक है आज मैं हमारा जो आज टॉपिक है वेबिनार का वो है जी, एक 12/2/24 को हार्डली 8 दिन पहले, और एक 15/2/24 को हार्डली 5 दिन पहले एक आईबीबीआई की तरफ से लिक्विडेशन प्रोसेस के अंदर अमेंडमेंट आई थी और सीआरपी प्रोसेस के अंदर भी एक अमेंडमेंट आई थी। तो ये दोनों के दोनों टॉपिक्स आज हमारे इन हाउस स्पीकर हैं। वी इनकरेज आउटसाइड पीपल आल्सो, बट आज हमारे यहाँ पे इन हाउस स्पीकर हैं हमारी सेक्रेटरी मिसेस ममता बेरानी जी, और हमारे गवर्निंग बॉडी के मेंबर सिंस इंसेप्शन मिस्टर अमित जी विल बी टेकिंग दिस टॉपिक। और जो हमारे जो रिसेंट सर्कुलर इशू करे थे आईबीबीआई ने, एक 12/2/24 और 13 तारीख का, वो भी ये दोनों के दोनों टेकअप करेंगे। एज फार एज ममता इज कंसर्न, सिंस वी हैव द इन हाउस स्पीकर्स टुडे, मैं भी थोड़ा सा एक 5-7 मिनट लूंगा एक इंट्रोडक्शन करने के लिए, and after that abreasting each other with some of the latest happening in our IP world। और उसके बाद डिटेल के अंदर टेक्निकल डेरिवेशन अमित जी और ममता जी लेंगे। ममता जी की इंट्रोडक्शन देने की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, शी इज द फर्स्ट इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल लेडी ऑफ दिस कंट्री वर्ल्ड वट एवर यू कॉल इट। और अमित जी कंपनी सेक्रेटरी हैं और लखनऊ बेस्ड हैं, और ही इज डूइंग वेरी गुड प्रैक्टिस इन इंसॉल्वेंसी प्रोफेशनल, हैविंग दिल्ली ऑफिस आल्सो, तो डूइंग लॉट ऑफ बिग केसेस। तो इसके अलावा हम लोग, सिंस वी आर द इन हाउस पीपल, नो मोर इंट्रोडक्शन, ये एक ब्रीफ सी इंट्रोडक्शन है। तो स्टार्ट करने से पहले अगर एनी ऑफ द ऑडियंस हैव एनी क्वेश्चन दैट दे वांट टू डेलिब्रेट एनी स्पेसिफिक टॉपिक, they can share with us so that we shall take care during our deliberation। और मे बी यानी कि हमारा एक मिलजुल के एक कार्यक्रम होता है, तो इसके अंदर हम लोग आपस में क्या कहते हैं एक दूसरे की नॉलेज भी शेयर कर सकते हैं। तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आई रिक्वेस्ट इफ एनीबडी हैज एनी क्वेश्चन एनीथिंग दे वांट टू डेलिब्रेट ऑन इट, तो हमारे जो ऑनरेबल स्पीकर्स हैं आज की डेट में ममता जी और अमित जी, ये दे विल टेक केयर फॉर दैट। और है तो प्लीज प्लीज कम फॉरवर्ड। मैं इन द मीन टाइम चैट बॉक्स भी देख लेता हूँ अगर उसके अंदर कोई क्वेश्चन है तो। Yeah, a request has been made to use English. Yes, sir. Yeah, Mr. Harish, Adanki Hareji, we shall use English, but in Northern India, we love to have Hinglish. English means Hindi plus English. And in fact, I was just talking with Shamsher Singh ji. He said, now I started loving Punjabi also. चलिए, in any case, we shall try to maximize our talking in English. So, since there's no question coming out to be there, we start with the deliberation. So I'm sharing my screen. Please allow me to share my screen. Just give me a second. Yeah, we are discussing liquidation and crip amendments 12 और 15 तारीख को जो दो notifications आए उनके ऊपर, and this is all very very small introduction of mine. जैसा कि मैंने sorry, I just thought that our webinar is on IBBI liquidation process amendments regulation 2024 dated 12 February 2024, IBBI insolvency resolution process for corporate persons amendment regulation 202 2024 dated 52/24, and recent circulars which pertains to these amendments only mainly, issued by IBBI dated 12 February and 30th February, and today is Tuesday, हनुमान जी का दिन है, and you know that the Tuesday 20th February 2024. So before that, if anybody is anybody is from Kochi would like to come on the dais, and so he can unmute himself and have a few words. Mr. P.T. Joshi or anyone else is there, or anyone else from the Kochi Association is there. Kerala Insolvency Professional Forum से अगर if anybody is there, he can come over and have few words after unmuting himself. Or Mamta ji, is there anybody from NCLT Kolkata Bar?
I am representing the NCLT Kolkata Bar also.
Okay.
I welcome everybody from NCLT Kolkata Bar.
Okay. Amit ji, you are mute. Amit ji, please unmute yourself. Okay, he's talking to someone else, maybe. Okay, recent developments, voluntary, the biggest recent development has been the submission of a report by the expert committee in voluntary mediation. And we all heard about that, but I thought of sharing with you very, very briefly what it means and what it contains, because it is going to affect our insolvency professional practice in days to come. It will definitely either increase or maybe most of it will increase, because it will bring more opportunities to we insolvency professionals there in this particular field. What ingredients of this voluntary mediation report is, I'm sharing it with you. Expert committee recommended the introduction of voluntary mediation in the phased manner while maintaining the sanctity of the IBC timelines. The preamble of this report is that sanctity of IBC timelines be maintained. Mediation is the use of a neutral third party to facilitate the negotiated settlement of a dispute and resolve conflicts between two or more parties. It was the preamble. First phase, the process is recommended and to be voluntarily. Second phase, mediation with financial creditors be explored. They've used the word be explored. I don't know whether it will be voluntarily or involuntarily, but I think it will be a mix of something. Central and IBBI should make rules, regulations, and notifications for the same. It has also recommended the establishment of this is the most important line. It has also recommended the establishment of a dedicated and specialized national complaint tribunal annexed. They're given the name annexed. Insolvency mediation cell will with an independent secretariat to administer, oversee, and manage the conduct of insolvency mediations under the code. Waterfall mechanism can't be bypassed, and appropriate mechanism be devised for third parties also, meaning thereby that if in a mediation there are two parties and there are some other creditors are also, they should also be taken care and they can't be bypassed in this voluntary mediation. Not all syndicats under the Cs under the IBC are fit for resolution through mediation. For instance, issues such as avoidance transaction are excluded from the scope of the mediation under the IBC. The pool of mediators could include retired members of the NCLT, NCLAT, senior advocates, successful insolvency proceedings stakeholders, ex-senior officials of the financial sector regulators, among others. This is the indicative list. It can, go otherwise also. Adequate training to be provided to the mediators for conduct of mediation under the code. A code of ethics for mediators be formulated to enable mediators to perform their duties while upholding principles of professional ethics. Okay. I just stopped my share. mediation aspect is already there, prevalent in court for other cases also. I remember in one of the divorce cases, I saw that mediation is there. If any of my advocate friends would like to add to this mediation aspect in, in other laws, then he can share his knowledge and enlighten us, all of us here. If any of our advocate friend is there. चलिए, nothing like that. I move forward with my presentation further. Yes, mediation I've already covered, and by another aspect is of recent case laws, which has which have a big effect on our insolvency professional practice. The biggest case law which I found during the last fortnight was with reference to Greater Noida Industrial Development Authority versus Prabhajit Singh Soni and others. Dated this judgment was delivered by Honorable Supreme Court as on 12th of February 2024. What happened there? They have treated Greater Noida Authority as a secured creditor, which was not treated by either NCLT or NCLAT. CRIP claim filing form, they held that the CRIP claim filing form is directory in nature. Claim filed in wrong form category would have to be accorded due consideration in the category to which it belongs. Claim must be supported by proof is important. NCLT can record registration plan approval order passed under section 31 subsection 1 of the IBC. So this was a very great judgment on the part of Honorable Supreme Court. इन्होंने क्या कहते हैं सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर वाला जो हमारा रेनबो वाली जजमेंट थी उसको कंटिन्यू करते हुए ग्रेटर नॉर्थ अथॉरिटी को कह दिया कि दे आर आल्सो सिक्योर्ड क्रेडिटर्स, and as a result of which now they will have the priority in payment, which has virtually jeopardized the whole home buyers structure as well as NCR is concerned. Now if any of the dues are there, they were having a very huge dues, and then that they will be assigned priority in payment. Let's see how the things will move forward. And at the same time, which we were quite strict till date, that claim form should be appropriately filed either in BC, whatever the prescribed form was there. Now they said that it is directory in nature. Only thing is you need to see the substantive support behind of that particular claim, and nothing more than that. In fact, I come across a very the practical, very good case, that in one of the case that was a listed company, I was asked to do the audit because that company was sold as a going concern. And, when that company was sold as a going concern, amount mentioned in balance sheet was quite different. Claim received by RPS quite different. And then the question arises before me as an editor was that how to quantify this particular claim amount in balance sheet and in my audit report also. So we find out a solution for that also. जब नेक्स्ट टाइम उसके बारे में बैलेंस शीट में डिस्कस करेंगे तो देन वी शैल टॉक अबाउट दैट आल्सो. ओके, another is there, this is also a very good judgment. NCLT Kolkata bench, these are basically two judgment. Kolkata bench, income tax refund of liquidation period can't be adjusted set off against past year outstanding demand. This has been upheld by the NCLT in other many cases also, but our income tax department, I don't think so. They are obeying it, especially their Bangalore portal is not obeying it because they say that we don't have any any procedural power or anything with us whereby we can help you in that way. And another case was that insolvency code overrides income tax. Another is that this is the case citation number so and so, whereby it has been allowed under section 79 subsection 2 to carry forward the past losses of the CD. This is also a very important judgment because there was some sort of conflicting situation there, because section 79 says that in case of the change in shareholding of more than 51%, then this loss should not be allowed. But now since this has been upheld by the NCLT, it can definitely give us a big bargain to us for resolution plan, because the benefit of carry forward losses, if we get converted into the cash flow, it can be, say, around 25% to 30% of the carry forward losses that we cannot demand from the SRA as cash payment or increase the price to the CD in their proposed resolution plan. Mamta ji has, circulated this thing in all of our WhatsApp group. High Court directs IBBI to frame a code of conduct for committee of creditors within 3 months. Case citation is so and so, so and so, so and so. And in fact, this the good part for this thing is there, or good part, or maybe the knowledgeable part for this thing is there, that it has been earlier also done in 2 occasions. What were those occasions? It was NCLAT as held in this particular Express Resorts case, and NCLT also had in the case of Ami Jain also, but IBBI has not acted on it. Hopefully, with this Delhi High Court order, IBBI will be acting on it. Somebody wants to say something, please carry on. Okay, it was a disturbance. Okay. My fourth case is Mr. Umesh Kumar versus Mr. Nindra Kumar Sharma, IRP of Indrapuram, whereby very rarely RP is being applauded or RP work is being upheld by the NCLT or NCLT. They have come out very clearly, and words they have noted down in their order is that RP is not expected to rubber stamp claims filing by the creditor in CRP without exercise of due diligence. अब collate करना, verify करना, these in itself are some legal issues. But I've chosen this judgment only for the reason that at least NCLT has realized that we are not the rubber stamp. We need to use our discretion for the benefit of the CD. There are 2 orders of DC. DC order dated 12 January 2024, whereas they suspended Mr. Vivek Reja for a period of 2 years for suppression of relevant facts from the COC, examining financial capability of Mr. Sushant Chabra for meeting eligibility criteria of PRA, disposal of the assets of CD without the prior approval of the COC, and executing lease agreement with the PRA with respect to assets of CD without the approval of COC. We should read this case law in detail also, so that we can know what cautions we need to take in our daily life resolution cases. And last, my point is that I thought of enlightening everybody with section 43 B subsection H. This is this is the income tax section, not IBC section. Section 43 subsection B subsection H. This section basically says that in the case of payment to the micro and small of MSME registered person, if you don't make the payment within 15 or 45 days, then this payment will be disallowed. So I have taken this for in this IBC deliberation only with the purpose that during CRP process also we make a lot of payments. And this particular MSME Act section says that it is an exceeding section, but we should have a knowledge and try to implement it in our payments also, so that we should not commit any default. In itself is a quite big section. I won't be delving much in detail for it. Only thing is we should understand it, read it, understand it, and try to implement in all our CRP expenses, especially in the case of going concern expenses. This is all I have, or as usual in every our IPA meeting, I'm sharing कि हम लोगों ने what we have done during the past 6 months or a year or so. These are the topics which you are chosen. Our topics are absolutely latest and recent. Whenever you have any difficulty to understand anything, you can go to our YouTube channel and read these topics as per your convenience. And we till date we have I think around 40, more than 44. Till date we have deliberated on 52 topics during the last 1.5 years, maybe 2 years. And you can watch all these the topics in this particular YouTube channel whenever you feel comfortable. whenever you get involved in any of the any of the held up in any of the particular section or particular understanding, you can go through this thing. This is all I have. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Now, with this, I ending my introduction part, and closing down my screen also, stopping my screen share also. Mamta ji, the real captain of our today, please come forward, have the button, and start flying.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Manojji. IPA platform is indeed a platform which we all look forward to for deliberation. And from IPA and all the other associations who have joined hands today, and always they are together with us, we welcome you all once again. We welcome the esteemed guests. You're very, very precious to us, is what I can say. Now, what I have done is, we've divided it, and very quickly, let us just straight come to the subject. There have been changes to the liquidation process regulations. There have been changes to the CIRP process regulations. There have also been a small change in the voluntary liquidation process regulation, though small but important, and something to do with the personal guarantee about the report that is to be given by the resolution professional to the debtors and creditors under Section 9. So there has been a small change. That is more of a clarification by way of a circular rather than a change. But mammoth and very important changes have been brought into the CIRP and liquidation process. For voluntary liquidation also, the change is very, very small, which has come in by way of a circular. So let us straight away get into the CIRP, because CIRP comes before liquidation. So my good friend Amit will take up liquidation changes. I am taking up the CIRP changes. And believe you me, the changes are very, very welcome. And you will also, when you see it closely, you will also kind of appreciate the good work being put in by the regulators. So what I did was, I just sat and converted the file that is up there in the IBBI website. It is, the regulations is amended up to 18.9 as of now. Okay, that is there on the website. What I did was, I kind of in track mode tried to put in the 10 changes. So there are 10 changes, okay? 5 plus 5, 10. There are 10 changes which has been brought about by way of a notification, which is effective from 15th of February 2024. So Valentine's Day is 14th of February. So from 15th of February, we were really gifted with very valuable changes, which actually is going to bring sanity to the process and also make it easy for us to operate. Now, in the 10 changes, and please follow the screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. So let's kind of wade it through. Let me first come to Regulation 4. So there are 10 changes that you need to remember, the number 10. So now the first change is in Regulation 4. Now you remember, whenever we see a 4A or a 4B, it only means that these changes have come in later. That is not a rocket science to know. So 4C was last, where it said the process email has to be given. Okay, then it brought about this first change in regulation by adding Regulation 4D, D for Delhi. Now it said you have to open separate bank account. You means the RP or the IRP. So it's specified the IRP or the RP. Okay, specifically. Later on, you will find that everywhere it's written resolution professional or insolvency professional. But here categorically it said either it is the IRP or the RP. They have to open separate bank account. Why I say have to? Because the word that has been used is shall. Separate bank account for each real estate project. So going forward, we will show you how they've made it simple in the sense they say, which we also knew earlier, that now a company which has real estate project, the whole company need not go. The projects can be actually rehabilitated. And if there are 2 projects, 3 projects, for each separate project, a separate bank account needs to be opened and operated. So that's a shall, which means you don't have a choice. And even if you're appointed as an IRP in the beginning, even in those first 30 days or 40 days, what it takes, we really still have to slog hard to open a separate bank account. So where the corporate debtor has any real estate project, okay, so it may not be a real estate company. Say, for example, it is a company and it is a company which is doing something, and in the sidelines, it is also doing 20% work as a real estate project, though we seldom find this. But let us just understand what is written. So where the CD has any real estate project, not real estate, has a real estate project, the IRP or the RP, as the case may be, shall operate a separate bank account for each such real estate project. I also wish to tell you that these changes have become immediately operational from 15th. So even if the CIRP is continuing and we've reached about 4-5 months in the CIRP, even then this will absolutely become applicable and one has to take care of it. Now, if we first saw a change in Regulation 4, now there have been change in meetings of creditors and then votings of COC. So let's straight away get into meetings, Regulation 18, I think. So let's get into Regulation 18. So I did it because, it just helps me to also remember when you write something, you start recollecting better. So in Regulations 18, that falls under the chapter of meetings of the committee, it says that within each 30 days, a COC meeting has to be convened. Okay, has to be convened. So a resolution professional may convene. Obviously, the IRP cannot come. So a resolution professional may convene a meeting of the committee before lapse of 30 days from the last meeting. Now, it's actually still a may here. That actually could have been a shall, but then because it also says provided that the committee may decide to extend the interval between such meetings subject to the condition that there shall be at least one meeting in each quarter. So therefore, I say that actually this should have been shall, but there have been no changes that it is a shall. I rechecked twice. Now I have the printout also. So it says that, no, I'm sorry, it is a shall. I just rechecked. So it says a resolution professional shall convene a meeting of the committee before lapse of 30 days from the last meeting. Okay, so which means every 30 days you have to convene a meeting. So it is quite a task, because by the time you prepare the minutes and you open it for e-voting has also been streamlined. I'll just tell you going forward. The next meeting will kind of arrive. So it normally takes 10 days to close everything in the meeting, and then 5 days notice period. So 15 days, and just after 15 days, you have to call the meeting. So the time gap is pretty less. But I guess when you have to complete a COC, if you have to complete a CIRP in 6 or 9 months, this is the kind of discipline I think we ought to have actually. So provided that, let's read this again, that the committee may decide. So it may committee, it's not anybody else. So the right has been given to the committee that it may decide to extend the interval between such meetings, subject to the condition that there shall be at least one meeting in each quarter. Now you may say that I do one meeting in January, so that covers one quarter, and I do another meeting in June because that covers another quarter. So the time gap then in between could be close to 5.5 months or 6 months. But I think let's always understand the spirit of the regulation rather than actually getting into that demeanor where we say each quarter has been covered, even if I do one in Jan and I do one in June. Okay, so this was meetings of committee. Then there's a very big change in votings of committee. And let me tell you, the votings of committee, the change has been brought because of the voice of you and me and associations like IPA. What was happening? Let me just give you the pretext. So this is the regulation, which is Regulation 25, voting by the committee. So we saw Regulation 4, then we saw Regulation 18, which spoke about meetings of committee. And now we are seeing Regulation 25. So 4, 18, and 25. Now 25 is, and you'll be very happy to read what I'll show you. But giving you the perspective, a lot of times we were very plagued with the pain that the voting lines used to relentlessly get extended 1 month, 1.5 months, because there was no such stopping in the regulations which gave them, or which gave us a leeway to say that now it cannot be extended, because it was minimum 24 hours and maximum nothing. But if you recollect, when the CRP regulations had come initially, there was a cap. Okay, maximum of 48 hours. If you recollect those days, it was maximum of 48 hours. The voting lines were supposed to be kept open for maximum 48 hours. Then came an era when it said minimum 24 hours. So when it became 24 hours minimum, then there was no maximum cap. So it kept on relentlessly getting extended. But this pain point has now been addressed, and it says, so I am at regulation 25. I am at sub-regulation 5. Okay. In sub-regulation 5B. So it used to say that seek a vote of the members who, I'm reading from here, please. It says, so let me give you the crux of it. So it says that now you can keep it open for a maximum period of 7 days and a minimum of 24 hours. Okay, you can keep it maximum open for 7 days, and it doesn't say 7 working days or a 7, etc., etc. 7 days is what it says, and a minimum period of 24 hours. Then it says, and you can just lend me your ears, then it says that if a creditor, for example, there's a committee of creditor, and we always face this, one email comes from, even for a 0.01 holder, if it sends an email that I want an extension, we don't do much, but we have to give by asking or sending an email to the COC that somebody is asking. So I'm giving, because they always give you the power before. So now they are saying that even at a request of a creditor, you can extend, but at a time you can only extend for 24 hours. You can extend, but at a time you can only extend for 24 hours. So even if you want to extend for 2 days, or he asks for 2 days, you cannot do it, because the power in the regulation has been restricted, and it has been said that it can be only extended by the COC or by the RP with the consent of the COC. It can only be extended at a time by 24 hours. Then it goes on to say, and this is very interesting, you can read this paragraph, that it goes on to say that if a requisite majority has already been attained in a resolution, then you can extend it, but extend it only once, because your requisite majority has been attained. So you can extend it if asked by someone, by a creditor, but only can do it once. You can't then also extend it for the second time. I think it has been done because a lot of times these declaration of voting results used to get extended days after days, because the voting lines never used to get closed because of the continuous extensions being sought.
ममता जी, इसमें मैं आपसे एक बात पूछूंगा। जैसे कि आपने बात करी कि वोटिंग लाइन की स्प्लिट की बात करी, तो ये 24 आवर्स का बाय इवन ए सिंगल क्रेडिटर और बाय वेरी मिनिस्कल वोटिंग राइट, तो ये विल इट नॉट किल द स्पिरिट ऑफ द अबव सेक्शन? what 7 days has been reduced from the earlier days? Will such leverage won't kill the
Not really, because now it has restricted to 24 hours. Even today used to do it. And we always need to remember sometimes that 24 hours will not be such a mammoth timeline to handle. And sir, I must say that, the minority also has also been kind of taken care of hugely. So let's just
24 hours at repeated time. It's
so
not 60 to once. That is why I'm saying that one person says 24, next says 24, and then it goes.
So then it says that the COC may then say that no, now it's enough. So what happens is, generally in today's also COC meetings, we kind of take the power before only. Okay. And if you still feel that there are continuous asking being coming to you, then you pass a circular resolution in the COC by asking all the COC members that now I'm not able to accede to this request. So generally in our COCs, we take an approval before. 2 times you can do it, once you can do it, and we'll all adhere to the timelines. So generally, that is how it is done.
One more thing, Mamta, in this case is that in the second para, it says that the voting window can be extended in increments of 24 hours periods. So can it go beyond 7 days or not?
Yes, it can go beyond.
It can go beyond 7 days also.
Yes, it can go beyond.
Oh, madam,
To
7
highlight
days
the
can be
requisite
the
majority
maximum.
aspect also.
Because
7 days is
here,
the
see,
maximum,
it says for such time as will be decided by the committee, which shall not exceed 7 days. Provided that on a request, the voting window shall be extended in increments of 24 hours period. So this means this extended is beyond the 7 days. No?
Yeah,
No, madam.
absolutely.
Yes,
What
Yeah,
I
yeah.
yes,
feel
yes.
is,
No.
it is
What
within
Mamta
the
ma'am
7 days only, it will be only 24 hours at a time.
no,
But
ma'am.
all
No.
together cannot exceed 7 days.
The scheme is the committee itself can decide that voting will be allowed for 7 days. The voting window itself will be open for 7 days. That is the prerogative of the committee. After that, if some creditor requests, then at a time 24 hours.
Exactly. Otherwise, this extension, this
Which is,
provided that doesn't make sense.
which is currently also unlimited.
Exactly.
The
Yes.
change also continues in the same direction. It is unlimited, but it will be 24 hours at a time. That's it.
And it become very difficult, you can't ask a time and again. So it is kind of a deterrence. It acts as a deterrence.
It's a check that how many time you are asking. Na? Even if tomorrow committee decides that no more extension, then if he has already taken 5 extension, then the bona fide will be proved before the court.
Exactly. So
And
now
how you will measure requisite majority?
so that's what we were
Uh,
discussing yesterday. So I and Manojji, I was talking to him and we were discussing. See, only one technical issue is there, which we will need to write to IBBI from IPA maybe, that you can't ascertain. So if you read the last paragraph, how will you be able to ascertain? Yogesh Ji is also smiling. How will you be able to ascertain who has voted or what? Unless you close the voting lines. So you can only extend the voting lines without closing it. So if you close it, only then you will be able to ascertain, then it will be a new voting line. And new cost also comes into play. Let me just tell you, because we are also cost sensitive. So this is a small anomaly, which is technical,
But
which we will.
Madam,
let me
during the process of
me.
voting also, madam, during the process of voting also, we can see who has voted and what is the majority of voting,
No, sir.
madam.
No.
No.
We
Not at all, sir.
cannot.
It
No.
will be
Just
inside information.
no. Just a small correction.
You can just
During
see
the-
who has voted, but what
Who has
voting they have
voted,
done,
yeah.
you can't see. You can't understand whether. So what it's right. Provided further that shall not extend where the matters listed for voting have already received the requisite majority vote. So how would you know that it has received the requisite? And that is the sense of the paragraph also, that it is trying to tell you that if it has been passed, then why are you waiting for the others to vote? Or if it has, so how would you know? You can only know if you are stopping the voting and opening it to see who has voted what. You can only see the surface by and ascertaining who has voted, but what they have voted, that you cannot see.
Ravichandran ji have still confusion. He asked on the chat box that why the word shall has been used before 7 days. Mamta ji, please clarify. Otherwise, I can also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, sir,
Shall not.
Yeah, so this is what it is saying, that once you first open the voting, you cannot at all open the voting for more than 7 days. And then if there is a request for extension, then the voting window shall be extended. Again, also see there is a shall be extended in increments of 24 hours period. So that here in the first paragraph, sir, there is no question of extension. Extension can only come after the maximum period. No? Otherwise, there is no point of having the jurisprudence of extension. Okay?
No,
Okay,
that extension could be, suppose the voting line has been opened initially only for 2 days. And then if there is an extension,
Then you can actually open it for 4 days at a stretch also, because
that
your
is fit.
7 days period is still not over. So for example, you have preliminarily opened it for 2 days. Then if you want to extend it, you can extend it at a block of 5 days. But after 7 days, expiry of 7 days, you always have to
Incremental.
wait an incremental of 24 hours.
So
And
Yogesh
practically
sir,
also, if you calculate this 24 hours period, I mean, how it is going to take effect? Because calculating 24 hours period will be very, very difficult.
Not
If
really.
somebody is making a
No.
request today, today is 20th, and it is open up to, say, up to 6 p.m. tomorrow.
Yes,
Now he has to make another request before 6 p.m.
absolutely. Correct.
tomorrow.
That's what they want, actually. That is what the IBBI wants, that, when you keep on asking, then it gets deterred. They want to actually deter it. They want to deter it, and that's why they
Correct.
have done these
Put the
24 hours.
limit and without losing the opportunity to the genuine cases also.
Absolutely. Right.
Mamta ji, one demand was coming out over there that people are very much liking your this presentation. They want to share it. In fact, I have also shared. Amiji, I also request you. You also share the chat box, and if any of the members want, they can right now download from the chat box also.
And this I will share. If you want this, which I've done, I'll share it. The more you share, the better it becomes. So then, as I told you, so we saw 3 changes. We saw regulation 4. You have to remember this now, okay? The whole concept of IPA is that everything you should drink it in CIRP and liquidation. So 4, then we saw 18, and then we saw 25. Then we are moving forward to see 31A. Now, cost is always going to be a very favorite subject of the regulators. So you will always remember that there will be always some changes or the other in the cost. Now, what they have brought in, anyways, regulatory fee they had brought in. So always remember, some more change has come. So that will come in the format of 31B. Okay, B for Bombay. Now, what it says, approval of the committee. I hope you're able to see, or should I? You're able to see, I guess.
Yes, yes.
Now, approval.
Yes,
of-
yes.
Okay. Now, see, the change is very, very interesting. And I'm sure we all do it as a good practice, but now it has come in the law. I have been doing it from last 7 years in all my cases, and I'm happy to see it now this was also one of my recommendation, but don't bash me for this, but it only helps. The insolvency professional shall, again, the word is shall, place in each meeting of the committee the operational status of the CD. So, the PAT, the sales, the revenues, the losses, the purchases, everything. I'm not telling you to put a provisional balance sheet. It's not possible. So you can either also put a trial, or you can also give the figures otherwise. The operational status of the CD, and shall seek its approval for all costs. This has come on its own. This was not our recommendation as such, but it says, and shall seek its approval for all costs, which are part of insolvency resolution process costs. Now, if you have to digest this, let me just juxtapose it with section 28. If you, and just hear me, and we are almost, just need 10 more minutes. If you see section 28, and why did I say that? In section 28, it is very clear. It talks about prior approval, if you recollect. But here it doesn't talk about the word prior. It says seek its approval. Okay, so let's not worry that how can I take, it's a going concern. If I start taking prior approval, my business will stop, etc. So it says shall seek its approval. So generally, you can actually take a range bound permissions from the COC. Practically, that is what will help.
It will give employment to CS
RP is
also.
also required to be approved in every meeting.
Absolutely. And then if you take range bound, it will become easier for you to, get this approval. In the beginning only, you can always show the picture of what the whole framework of business is. And you can take actually range bound approvals is what helps, because even today we are taking, because in insolvency resolution process cost definition, if you see, look at this. This is the definition, right? So it writes that here, expenses incurred, other costs directly relatable, and expenses incurred fixed under regulation 34, etc. So we are anyways taking it, but today they don't want to give approval. So what we write in our minutes is that there's an understanding, they take note rather than giving an approval, because imagine giving approval for small little things, they have to go to so many processes. You can't blame any one of them. They are all public sector banks, etc. So now giving approval for such big ticket size expenses will be a Herculean task for them. So I'm sure you have to first give them an overview and framework of the business size, etc. So as to, and also maybe show them 2-3 earlier balance sheets. And this is quite a tedious task.
Mamta ma'am, just one question.
Why
on
it
this
should not be
operational-
actually limited to the expenses? Why the IRP or RP's fees should be approved in every meeting?
No. You don't need to approve, because once it is approved, sir, you just have to put it in the sheet, which you always do. You don't have to approve it all the time, Yogesh, not at all. Because once
So it
approved,
says
for
no,
1 month,
because it has to be put up, all the expenses, including that RP fees is to be put up.
No. But once it is approved, if it is not
Yeah.
approved, seek its approval, sir. If it is approved, how can you come for a reapproval? It is only for approval. So once approved means approved.
Certain things will be there for information purpose and certain
Yes.
things will be for
Yogesh
approval.
ji, please understand, once you have taken an approval, it's approved. You don't have to go back again and again. So for
Right.
example, just let me do it quickly because
So
Amit
it is saying the insolvency professional shall place in each meeting of the committee the operational status of the corporate debtor and shall seek its approval for all costs which are part of the CIRP cost.
Okay, I'll tell Mamta ma'am, let me. So there are costs which are recurring in nature. There
Exactly,
are
a
certain costs
CFO
which are not recurring in nature. They are one-time costs. So
Absolutely.
for one-time cost, you will take the approval at the time when you are incurring, and for recurring, you will take one-time approval.
So
example,
it is not
CFO.
mentioned here, no. This
But
one
that is
time
the
or recurring has not been
Sir, not
separately
required because
defined
you've
here.
already taken approval, na Yogeshi, so it's not required.
Mamta ma'am, just one point. For
Yes.
operational status, do you think it is limited to the going concern cases only, or it
No,
is in all cases?
I'll tell you, like, for
Both.
example, I'm the RP in Rolta. Now it's not so much. So what we do is, if it is not a going concern, still there is this security agencies cost, there is this,
Yeah.
4 or 5 employees are there. So
Yeah,
I
the-
have
the
always been,
standard template has to be created
yes,
for the information.
absolutely, absolutely. And it makes it makes our life much easier. The questions.
Can I ask a small question here?
Yeah.
Yeah. So here we are talking about the incurring of the expenses. We need to differentiate between the expenses which have been incurred and not paid. So, like we have, in one of the cases we have, appointed a, advocate, and now since he has not submitted the bill, and definitely bill is not submitted, it has not been paid, but expenses have been already incurred since he has done the NCLT filing. So, so how do you recommend? I mean, should we take it to the COC? We have proposed the COC, 3 days
Yes,
after.
you should take it. You should take it. Because the
We should-
moment the work is done, you should start taking it because, but I understand TDS issue, but you just have a column where you write that the bill is yet to be submitted, but the work has been done. So
So this is irrespective of whether paid or not, right?
so for
Yes,
a
no,
lawyer, if you have appointed
no.
a lawyer in CIRP, you anyways have to first take an approval of the lawyer fees. Because it is a.
Mamta ji, should I share my experience with CRP cases and in these cases? Actually, we have two types of accounting. Being chartered accountant, let me explain it. Jogechi, you will help me also. Either cash basis or accrual basis. In the case of CRP cases, what he's talking about, you are talking that was of accrual basis. We have taken the approval for advocate fees. We have taken the approval for
but TDS
IRP
becomes
fees.
an issue. TDS becomes an issue. Yeah, please go ahead.
For all this thing there. But as far as this 31B, what is saying, it is saying about the cash expenses only. The expenses which we incur between two meetings, only that we place before the COC and get it approved. Instead of, then it will be a mixing of things. One thing is accrual is payable in the next, the paid in the next quarter or paid in the next month. So just to have the synchronization of everything, we always take, and secondly, we are only required to submit a seat and payment account only. We are not supposed to prepare our balance sheet as per Companies Act Schedule 3. We are in our CRP process, we are bound to give the status of the seat and payment account only. Accordingly, in my opinion, we ignore the accruing aspect and we go with the actual payment and seats only.
So
Anand sir,
Manoj, you mean to say that it should be on the cash basis then?
Haji?
It means we have to, take the approval on cash basis.
On accrual
No,
basis.
it's not approval. Approval you will take on the basis, for example, on accrual basis. That in the
Right.
initial meeting, you took the approval that advocate will be paid so much and the RP will be paid so much. And if there is anything new comes out to be there, that you can also refer for noting purpose only. But when you incur that expenditure, at that time, you get the approval as per regulation 31B. This is, it's not that I be doing using the best practice, but this is the practice. Shamsher Singh ji, I think, remember, in Ansals, we did the same thing there. So we adopt this practice.
Anand sir,
Irrespective of
Okay.
the payments.
Anand sir,
Aunty
when
sir.
we say, sir, see, there are two questions. One is, what about the costs which are incurred before formation of COC? Like public announcement और सब हो जाता है, तो तब तो COC रहती नहीं है, तो approval कैसे मिलेगा?
That's ratified, no? That's always ratified. That's given in the law that it has to be brought before the COC for ratification, and
first meeting.
that amount will be reimbursed, which is ratified to the
Yeah, but
operator.
now
Yeah.
here it says for
No,
all
that
costs.
Anuradha, that
Yeah.
provision still exists. Okay, this is,
Okay.
yeah, that has not been repulsive or repelled. That's still there. So
Okay.
that's
But
You have already
Mamta-
mentioned that prior approval is not required. Now you have to mention the expenses and get it approved from the COC.
because
Yes.
whenever the word prior is not written, the understanding is prior approval may not be taken. If you want to take prior
Correct.
approval, it is well and good. That's okay.
but when we
But
take
we-
range bound approvals, it has to be prior approval, right?
Not necessarily.
No, as you were
But
telling that
generally,
we
yes,
instead
because
of
if you're taking a range bound, then you're aware of it. So for example, when you enter the company, only then you'll be able to realize when you're there for 10, 15 days and the COC has already happened, how will you be able to just give the COC the entire gamut of expenses that's being happening in the company as a going concern? Because there are n number of expenses. A big company could be having expenses maybe
Yes, yes.
in the range of 40, 50 crores a month. For example, a power laden company or a coal driven company, etc. So therefore, let us understand the size is huge. So therefore, government has not put a prior approval because they understand it's not possible.
No, I
So
just shared
this
when
is
I
going to
was
be retrospective or prospective? No, all these regulations which have come
No,
up.
it's all prospective because for
Prospective.
what's happened, you can't do much. But
Hmm.
going forward, like for the cases that's now on,
Hmm.
for example, 5-6 months has already happened, we have to start taking approvals. And now it will be easier because you know the entire gamut of expenses that's happening in your company, but you have to take approval now going forward.
So
You need to
now
take-
approval for the cases which has already happened will mean
Yes.
only ratification, right?
no.
Yes, I mean,
No,
this is
that is the
approval.
no, Mamta ji,
Yeah.
nahi, please, nahi, no ratification. Ratification is something else. For this particular 31B regulation is meant only for expenses which you are incurring after 15th of February 2024.
Agree.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. This is
Logically
the
agreed,
practice.
agreed, sir. Agreed.
So
And
even
other
But in any case, Manoj, in any case, all the expenses have to be mentioned in the meeting.
yes,
Yes,
Whether
yes,
it's
yes.
prior to 15th February or before, after 15th February, doesn't make any difference.
Absolutely.
No,
We have to
Jogesh ji,
bring-
उनके कहने का मतलब था कि the expenses which we have already incurred and have not got their approval, do we need to get it ratified or approved right now or not? Against that, my answer is that
Whenever you have the next COC meeting, you can place all those expenses and
exactly.
take the approval.
Sir, placing
And-
is different and getting approval is different, na, sir. So
It
what
is
Manoj
written
sir is
approval.
telling is
You have
right.
to take approval.
No, when he says now we require approval for the expenses which are incurred after 15th February. So that must be right because until 15th February, we take a note of it.
Yes,
After
yes.
15th February, we have to take approval.
Yeah, but generally
Correct.
your expenses will be one and the same because you're a going concern and month by month you're using and spending the same money. So
So
generally.
whatever
the same
expenses
style.
still has been ratified, apart from all those expenses, you have to place it before the COC for approval.
Correct.
So one thing is very clear, it is not necessary that all time you will be requiring the approval of COC on prior basis.
That's what.
Like
Correct.
transaction advisory, right? If you are appointing a forensic auditor, you need not take the approval of COC prior. That is your prerogative. But once you receive the invoice of the transaction auditor, you will always place it before the COC for making it a part of CIRP cost.
Actually,
Sir, Amit sir, in that case, what happens if the COC does not approve it?
yeah, Amit,
Other-
yes. That is the
Amit,
problem.
generally for-
Abhijit,
In that case,
No,
we
no,
have to go to adjudicating authority.
No,
no,
Amit,
Abhijit,
for
you can't
directly-
fight with the
Yeah.
COC all the time.
No.
Anuradha ji, what practice we adopt? देखिए, many times now you need
Ji,
to
sir.
Put law as per your practice.
For
What we
directly
do,
attributable
we
costs,
place
yeah.
it before the COC and say that these are the quotations of 2 or 3 persons. Against that, we have received so much there, and we request you to prove it. And if what happen is that in case of bank and other, the COC members, they always say we have to go to this thing there and this thing there. Then we say you note it down. When they note it down and they don't raise any objection against that, it's approximate to the approval also, because we put them for at least they know about it. And when we incur that expenditure, at that time do it. And Mamta ji, can you allow me to share another thing with them?
Please, sir, please go ahead. This is a free
Yeah,
floor.
what we do just to culminate all these things, I always do in my all CRP processes that I get my financial year accounts get audited, receipt and payment accounts get audited. When I get it audited, receipt and payment account for a particular financial year, because many a times CRP process extended to more than a year also. At that time, when when audited statements of accounts are being submitted to them, it automatically, or it has a quite huge weight for the COC member, including the banking financial creditors, to put their seal for the approval.
Okay, guys, let's move forward.
Yes, please. Yes. 5 baj gaye ji, please फटाफट करो.
Yes. So now one more provision has come in. Now going forward, it is regulation 35, 36, 38. Okay. So 38 is also very important. So 35, let's come to 35. 35 says that the valuations that comes, it says that the resolution professional, before the valuation is put before the COC, shall facilitate a meeting wherein the registered valuers shall be able to explain the methodology being adopted to arrive at the valuation before the computation of estimates. I think this is only so that the fight over the valuation actually gets reduced. People get a platform to ask questions. We were anyways doing it, but now it has come in the law. Okay, so let's move forward. So that is 35. Now, as I said, in 35, there's one more change, which is also very welcome. Now, the change is like you are also now mandated to share the valuation reports. So whenever you are taking the undertaking, you actually also need to write about the valuation reports. So that is the small change, that after the receipt of resolution plans, the resolution professional shall provide the fair value, the liquidation value, and the valuation reports. Okay. Now we are going to regulation.
Mamta ji, one question is there. As an RPs, they share the valuation report with me. Should I share it with my home buyers and other members also? And after taking undertaking?
So do you share the fair value and the liquidation value?
No. I'm saying, but no, valuation report is my right.
I'm asking you, sir, as an
No,
AR.
no.
Therefore, you're not
Okay.
sharing this. Okay. Thank you. So now we are moving forward to regulation 36. The regulation 36 is all about IM. These regulations we remember by heart. In IM, a very important change has that now come back. If you recollect, when the first CRP regulations were there, you were allowed, in fact, you were to disclose the fair value and the liquidation values. I don't recollect the fair value, but we had to disclose the liquidation value. I think both. No, only liquidation value. Then there was no concept of fair value. When the CRP regulations had first come in 2016, there was only concept of liquidation value. That time in the IM, the liquidation value had to be put. Now it has come again that in the IM, you can put the fair value. But if the COC committee decides that non-disclosure will help maximization, or it will be beneficial for the resolution process, then the COC by way of a resolution will decide that no, I don't want to put the fair value in the IM. Okay, so by the time IM is prepared, the resolution professional anyways comes into the scene and the COC has already got constituted. So it says that in the IM, the committee may decide not to disclose the fair value if, for reasons recorded in writing, it considers that such non-disclosure will be beneficial for the resolution process. So this sentence means that you have to disclose. If you don't want to disclose, then this resolution of the COC will be required. So that is regulation.
Mamta ji, Yogesh ji and Amit ji and others also, can you tell us what is the best practice of, the practically best practice, whether should we disclose it or not disclose it, as per your experience?
Sir, one formula does not fit in all. Many cases.
No, I'm saying in general. We
No,
need
no.
to guide our members also. What you're doing, okay, tell me what you're doing in your CRP cases.
So,
Okay, let me ask in that way.
my thought is that, as I have stated, in different situation, maybe that is why the regulation has come now to give a clarity that to get the maximization of valuation, maybe I am not in favor that I should disclose the fair value. If that is the case, now you can, earlier there was a dilemma whether I should go disclose or not. Tomorrow somebody should not blame me. So today the regulation itself is providing that I can do so, that I may not disclose the fair value, provided I know that these are the reasons due to which I am not disclosing this value. So we are also doing the same way, not disclosing in many of the cases, though there had been challenges, but I feel that to
The
have the
welcome. Yes.
maximum valuation that is required.
Now going
That
forward.
need to be hidden.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's
Disclosure of fair value need to be hidden because of with your experience you are saying this thing. Yogesh, what you would like to say?
I think earlier there was no requirement to show the face value or the liquidation value. Now there is a requirement of showing the face value. I think it has been added because if there is a fair value mentioned in the document, then it will give some sort of a valuation to the prospective RA that what could be the ticket size of the company. So I think to that extent, it is quite a genuine requirement which should have been there.
Okay.
Very
now
true.
going forward. Thank you so much. We are moving to 36A, which is the invitation for expression of interest. Here, what they have done is they have given a clarification in line with what we spoke earlier, that the RP after the approval of the committee, so all is after the approval of the committee, may invite a reso plan for each real estate project or group of projects of the corporate debt. So for each real estate project also, you can call or you can invite for a reso plan. And now there are only 2 more regulations, and you will be happy to note that implementation stuff has now come into the book. So in the CRP regulations, implementing agency, supervisory committee, in whatever way you want to call, so it has now got a space and place under the sun into the CRP regulation. So let us straight away come to regulation 38. If you recollect, I told you 35, 36, 36A and 38. So which is a very important regulation, because this regulation is seen hugely by the adjudicating authority before approval of a resolution plan. Each and every point is seen very vitally. In regulation 38, it goes on to say that, so it has added, if you recollect, see regulation 38 finishes at sub-regulation 3. Now sub-regulation 4 and regulation 5 has been added. You need not read so much. I'll just tell you the crux. So it is saying that the committee may consider the requirement of a monitoring committee for the implementation of the resolution plan. Okay, may consider it necessary that there's a requirement of a monitoring committee. Though we find most of the time that it is there in the plan as a scheme of things given by the RA, but even the committee now has given the power, has been given the power to understand and say that we need a monitoring committee. Then it goes on to say that when it tells the RA that we need a mention in the plan, it is where the committee considers that a monitoring committee is required, it may, while approving the reso plan, decide to constitute the same. So even it may not be finding a place in the resolution plan, but it will decide to constitute the same with the resolution professional, or propose any other resolution professional or any other person as its members. So the definition of person is given in the definition section. It includes LLP, it includes individual, etc. All is given. And it goes on to say that if the RP is being proposed as a part of the monitoring committee, the monthly fee payable to him shall not exceed the monthly fee received by him during the corporate insolvency resolution process. Now, if any other insolvency professional is appointed or any other person is appointed, then what will be the restriction on the fees has not been given. Why do I say that? Because if you see the word here, RP, here also says is RP. It could have easily said about any other resolution professional or any other person, but it doesn't go on to say. So if an RP is getting appointed, and this is what we all do, we never charge more, if at all, we get appointed. And the last change is in regulation 40. It's also a very welcome change. What happens is, a lot of times when we go for extensions in CIRP, there's a lull period. We don't know, should we act, should we not act, because we have gone beyond maybe 270 days or beyond 180 days. We just don't know what to do. So though we act as an RP because we cannot keep the office open, but there's always a confusion, and we keep on running from pillar to post to the AA and asking that, sir, please give us the permission because we are without the authority. So now it has added a clarification in Regulation 40, which talks about extend. This is the last slide. Clarification, it is clarified that the RP shall continue to discharge his responsibilities under the CRP process till the application for extension is decided by the adjudicating authority. Okay, so these are the 10 changes which I.
Mamta ji, इसमें एक चीज I would like to add one thing. Don't get it confused that if you put an application for the liquidation under section 33, that during that period, responsibilities will remain with you.
No, we are-
Although it will
Yes.
practically it will remain with you, but try to understand that regulation has not amended to that extent. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. You
Thank
always enlighten us, and the way the rhythm with which you teaches us, that really says that you have been a teacher one or the other time in your life. Amit ji, please
Thank
move
you so much.
forward.
Yeah,
We
so I have
forward
already
to it.
shared the screen. I know the shortage of time, but not much changes. And as Mamta ma'am has already given indication of line in which the changes are, so many of the things we'll understand from the discussion what Mamta ma'am has already done. So this is a compilation again only to give you the indicative changes. So first para is the regulation, second para is the old regulation, and third one is the amendment. And of course, the para which has been amended and how it has been amended, both are in red text, just to make you understand. So the first change that has came in the second proviso to Regulation 2B is in form of a proviso 2. And proviso 2 was basically, it is a clarification only. And that clarification now provides that liquidator shall file a proposal of compromise or arrangement only in cases where such recommendation has been made by the committee under Regulation 39BA of CIRP regulation. This earlier also we were having the same understanding. 30 days time was provided earlier also. Now language change is only to bring a clarity that it will be done only in those cases, and in other cases it will not be done. Second change is in Regulation 14. It is a case of a early dissolution. Regulation 14 deals with the early dissolution cases. And here the small technical change is that, and that change can be seen all across, that many places the requirement of consultation committee has been added. Many places, at least 7 to 8 places, the role of a consultation committee has been added, which was earlier not there. And in this case, what was the situation like? If you are as a liquidator, now you want the early dissolution, then at any time after preparation of the preliminary report, if you feel that the realizable properties of the CD are insufficient to cover the cost of liquidation process, or the affairs of the CD do not require any further investigation, then you may apply to the adjudicating authority for early dissolution. Now, the change is that you can apply to adjudicating authority, but after consultation with the consultation committee, and if consultation committee advises for early dissolution, then only you can file a detailed report incorporating the views of the consultation committee to the adjudicating authority, so that the adjudicating authority can take appropriate decision with regard to early dissolution. I think role has been added. Then Regulation 31A, which is with regard to specifically the stakeholder consultation committee. And here also, if you see, the stakeholder consultation committee has been given an increased scope and role by new subclause FGH getting added. If you see what was the role then remuneration of the professional, sale under regulation 32, including sale, pre-bid qualification, reserve price, fees of liquidator, valuation, the manner in which the preferential transaction, undervalued, extortionate credit transaction, fraudulent transaction shall be perused after closure of the liquidation. So all these things were there. Now after E, the F, G, H are the new addition. That is review of the marketing strategy in case of failure of sale of corporate debtor as a going concern. So this is where the value addition is expected from the stakeholder consultation committee. Then continuation or institution. This is very interesting that a call has to be taken by the liquidator and placed before the consultation committee. The consultation committee will decide to continue or institute any legal proceeding or suits. As you are aware, the moratorium during CIRP and during liquidation are different in one manner, that all proceedings during the CIRP process which got halted on commencement of CIRP can resume. In moratorium during liquidation, the condition is that you cannot institute new cases, but the cases which were continuing at the time of CIRP can resume. Now here comes a role of a stakeholder consultation committee. That committee can decide whether these matters can continue or not, whether they have to institute any new matters, or in what manner, what is the best in the interest of the corporate debtor. And last, the extension of payment of balance sale consideration as is provided under clause 12 of para 1 of schedule 1 beyond 90 days, that has to be disclosed in the auction notice. So these are 3 new addition of responsibilities to the stakeholder consultation committee. There is one more change, which is with regard to bringing a discipline in the decision-making process of the SCC. And that discipline is in line with what Mamta ma'am was explaining with regard to the COC meeting. Here also they have added that gap between the 2 meetings should
Same
not
thing.
be more than 30 days. Unless the consultation committee decides that the longer period will be allowed, and 1 meeting in each quarter will be mandated. So, but again, going by the same spirit that having first meeting on 1st of January, second meeting technically you can have in the 30th of June also, but we should not defeat the spirit of law. Then 6A, 6B has been added in this particular regulation itself, and it goes on saying that in all cases where the liquidator proposed to continue or initiate any legal proceeding, it is in continuation with the previous para which we were discussing. So if a liquidator propose that he want to pursue a particular matter or initiate a new matter, then he has to present before the consultation committee the economic rationale. Maybe your case is very strong, but the economic value that you are going to generate out of winning that particular case has also to be seen. The cost is, let's say 10 lakh, maybe the gain is 1 lakh, then economic sense does not say that you should pursue that matter. So that has been very nicely built in by way of regulation 6A. And there has been certain mandatory item, as we have seen certain mandatory item in the case of COC meeting. So here mandatory item list has been added, and it says that you have to place before the consultation committee the actual liquidation cost along with the reasons for exceeding the estimated cost. Second, you have to tell the consolidated status of the legal proceeding. This is the key focus area of the regulator also, because we know majority of the liquidation proceedings are delayed primarily because of the legal cases. It is not because of anything else. The liquidators have been pursuing the matter. Very hard work is being done, but still the matter is not getting closed because of the legal proceedings. So the SCC has been mandated that in any case they were making a review. It's not like that they were not making a review, but now it has been mandatory that this will be part of the agenda items, and a consolidated status report will be placed, and so that they can provide necessary guidance. Then what progress has been made with regard to the liquidation process? This also has to come compulsorily. Now you can see every 30 days, if this kind of report is coming, a monitoring is done by the SCC with regard to the progress. I'm sure the benefit is going to come in times to come with regard to expediting, as the regulator has been time and again asking for. One small explanation has been added after sub-regulation 9, which is informed that what is the meaning of the term voting. Voting means the vote cast by the representatives of the consultation committee. It is just a clarificatory, otherwise there is nothing.
It is
Now,
basically present and voting, no?
yeah, correct. And regulation 32A, which is with regard to the sale as a going concern. In this particular case, the changes which have been done are primarily two. One, they have added one explanation after sub-regulation 4, which says that for the purpose of this sub-regulation, it is hereby clarified that the sale of corporate debtor under clause E of regulation 32 cannot be offered as the only option for the bidder after first auction. So what I understand, if for first auction, you may offer sale as a going concern. But after the first auction is done, you have to provide other options also. You cannot just continue for a sale as a going concern indefinitely. There has a cap that first time you can do, but first auction is over. After that, you have to provide the multiple options. So simultaneously, you can work on the other options also. That is what I believe the intent is, that you squeeze the timeline. It should not happen that first 6 months you have wasted for selling it as a going concern, and then after you are starting the process. Then
Abhijit, basically, I just add
Yeah.
that what court and our regulator is expecting is that when you put an application for the liquidation, you always have a period of 3-4 months, and during that period, you should utilize the period to sell your company as a going concern rather than after receiving the order. That is why 30 days has been restricted there.
Absolutely. So that is the way they will be able to put that restriction, because in genuine cases, you may take that much of time also. That's not the problem. But idea is to discourage continuation of exploration part indefinitely. That is the first regulation also. If we see 2B, what has been amended from the CIRP regulation, I believe the role of COC will also change, that when they will be making recommendation for even compromise arrangement also. So they have to go one step forward, and they have to give a little more concrete proposal. That regulation has not been amended so far, but I believe next in line would be the change in form of a direction to COC to have a crystal clear picture at that point of time itself, rather than just be a exploratory option. That is what I understand. And in regulation, sub-regulation 5, where the liquidator is of the opinion that it is viable that we run this entity as a going concern, then again, we have seen many cases that the unit was as a going concern, though resolution plan could not be received, and it went into liquidation, it slipped into liquidation. So if you want to continue it as a going concern, you have to seek the prior approval of consultation committee to the extent they allow. That there may be 3 unit, 4 unit. They may ask you to run only 1 unit. They may ask you to run 2 unit. or manner in which the SCC approves, you have to continue the CD as a going concern. Then Regulation 33 also has been partly modified, that is with regard to the mode of sale. And we have been seeing the cases that there are primarily two situations. One situation that has now been modified is private sale with regard to. Earlier also the private sale was allowed if your asset was perishable, if your asset was likely to deteriorate in value significantly if it is not sold, or where the asset is sold at a price higher than the reserve price of a failed auction. That was a one safeguard where we were landing up, and we were seeing the failed auction was of 10 lakh and somebody is offering 11 lakh. So we can dispose it off by way of a private sale also. What regulator has done, they have proposed to delete, rather they have deleted the third option, that is C. C clause has been deleted. That means even if you are getting price higher than the reserve price of a failed auction, you cannot dispose it off as a private sale. That is to avoid the obvious reasons that we understand. Secondly, you will require the prior approval or prior consultation, word they have used, that private sale only after prior consultation with the consultation committee under Regulation 31A. So you are allowed to do the private sale only in two situations, perishability or deterioration, but that's too only after having a consultation with the consultation committee. And third option we have discussed already, that has been deleted. Regulation 35 also has been changed. 35 is dealing with the valuation of assets. So first situation, we understand that where 35(1) was providing that valuation has been conducted under Regulation 35 of IBBI IRP process or Regulation 34 of the fast track, the liquidator shall consider the average of estimates of the values arrived under those provisions. Now, if this is not the case, if your case is not covered under sub-regulation 1, or where liquidator after in consultation with the consultation committee under Regulation 31A is of the opinion that fresh valuation is required under the circumstances. So here also there is no change. This was provided earlier also. Now also the only thing that has changed is the prior consultation with SCC. Again, the role of SCC has been enhanced. Here also you were allowed to complete that process within 7 days of liquidation commencement, and you will appoint 2 registered valuer to determine the realizable value of the asset under A to F of Regulation 32, and there are certain restrictions. So those all restriction remains the same. There is no change, but there is one more change by way of 3 new sub clauses. 5, 6, 7. Now 5 says where the valuation is undertaken as per sub-regulation 2, the liquidator shall facilitate a meeting where the registered valuer shall explain the methodology. Similar to what Mamta ji has explained, idea is that what valuer is taking a methodology just to make them aware about the methodology adopted for arriving at a valuation number. So same manner here also the provision has been adopted. Second, the liquidator shall share the valuation report with the members of the consultation committee after obtaining the undertaking, that they will maintain the confidentiality and shall not use the, so it will now facilitate the sharing of the report after taking necessary undertaking. Now, last one, in case there is a deviation of 25% in the valuation of an asset class, under sub-regulation 2. From the valuation under regulation 35 of the CIRP regulation, the liquidator shall facilitate a meeting wherein the registered valuer shall explain the reasons of difference to the consultation committee. So these are the 3 changes which have been brought further in this particular valuation regulation. Then next is regulation 46, which is a very interesting one, and that deals with the corporate liquidation account. Now, corporate liquidation account, the provisions by and large remains the same. The new notification, the circulars which have been issued by the IBBI, read with this particular change, if you see, what they have amended is 46 regulation subclause 7, sorry. 7 has been deleted. What was 7 earlier? The 7 was saying a stakeholder who claims to be entitled to any amount deposited into the corporate liquidation account may apply to the board in Form J for an order for withdrawal of the amount. And then there was a small proviso. Now they have deleted this and they are saying you read regulation 7, 7A, 7B, 7C, 7D and 7E to bring the clarity as to how the amount withdrawal will be allowed in both the situation, prior to dissolution and after dissolution. So now 7 will read, prior to dissolution of corporate person, a stakeholder who claims to be entitled to any amount deposited in the corporate liquidation account, he may apply to liquidator in Form 1, Roman 1, for withdrawal of the amount. What will be the process? On receipt of the request, the liquidator, after verification of the claim, he shall forward the request to the IBBI for release of the amount for onward distribution. Now 7B says the board, that is IBBI, on receipt of request may release the amount. C says the liquidator shall, after making the distribution to the stakeholder, shall intimate the adjudicating authority also. Just see the follow-up. And then D goes on to deal with the cases where after dissolution of the corporate person, a stakeholder is making a claim, then he may do so, again making a application in the prescribed form. And if a person other than the stakeholder claims to be entitled to any amount which is deposited in the corporate liquidation account, he shall submit evidence to satisfy the liquidator or the board, as the case may be, that he is so entitled. So now all the 3 situations, A, prior to dissolution, B, after dissolution, C, even by person who was not a stakeholder while the claims were filed by the liquidator, his name was not there, but still he has a evidences to prove to the satisfaction of the liquidator or to the IBBI, still he can make a claim. And corresponding change, I think, has been made in the sub-regulation 8 also, because earlier it was making a reference of regulation 7, now it is 7D precisely. So they have made a cosmetic change therein.
One thing in Amit in this case is that suppose a creditor is making a claim in Form 1 or Form I, whatever it is, then in that case, suppose there are 2 creditors or 3 creditors which will be filing their claim, there is no time mentioned for filing this claim. So if somebody is filing after 1 month or after 3 months or then after 6 months, then how the board is going to adjudicate those claims and distribute the amount to them?
So what I understand, sir, I don't think your dissolution process is going to be stayed. That is the entire idea of corporate liquidation account that is being maintained by the IBBI. So your dissolution process will continue and you will be able to get a dissolution order also from the adjudicating authority. If your matter is not decided, either it will be you will be getting a claim from the stakeholder prior to dissolution process or you will be getting afterward. Now, I agree, the challenge will remain there that if there are multiple people who are making a claim and who will be available to make the adjudication of the same. So I believe role of liquidator even post liquidation dissolution process will also continue. I think that change seems coming from this particular 7E itself, because it says that he has to satisfy the liquidator. Now, liquidator is over. There is no timeline which has been prescribed so far as my understanding goes. But in times to come, maybe the IBBI will come out with some guidelines as to what is the timeline in which this amount can be claimed. But so far, it is indefinite period in which the claim can be submitted before the liquidator or to the adjudicating or to the IBBI if he has the evidences. The only thing is that if he is a stakeholder, his name is already there, then he need not give that all justification and the evidences. But if he is not a stakeholder, that means his name has not gone in the details what had been submitted while transferring the amount to the corporate liquidation account. Then in that case, he has to provide the evidences also. Then only, but as far as your question is concerned, what is the timeline? I don't think that there is any timeline so far prescribed by the IBBI in this regard as to he has to file the claim in next 6 months of time or 1 year time or 2 years time. That's my understanding. But role of liquidator will also be there continuing. So whenever we are trying to negotiate a kind of fees structure for the liquidator, we have to figure out this extra burden also if it is having a corporate liquidation account where the claim can come outside from the stakeholder also afterward.
Sir, limitation at 3 year will prevail.
Yeah, that
Your
can
claim
also-
limitation at 3 year will prevail in this case.
That can be one way to look at it, whether these matters will fall within the rigors of limitation. But principally, I agree. Yes, 3 years period may be considered for that purpose.
Chaliye Amit ji, we are putting a lot of making the please carry
Just
on. Carry on.
last point, I think 46A, which has been added in the liquidation regulation, which says that certain assets shall be excluded from the liquidation state. And it says that for the purpose of clause E of 36(4), where the corporate debtor has given the position to an allottee. This has been always a debate that in real estate cases, the people who have been given the position also, even the assets have been taken by the liquidator as a part of the liquidation estate. Now the clarity has been given. Cases where such kind of position has been given to the allottee, that asset will not be part of the liquidation estate. Apart from this, I think there are certain consequential changes in the Schedule 1 and Schedule 2 as well. Those are consequent to what we have discussed. I think we can stop here. Maybe we can take some.
Yeah, I quickly go through chat box. We have around 15 queries. So my respected speaker, Amit ji, Mamta ji, and other senior fellow members can also join to reply all these things there, because it's basically an interactive session. So pehli thi ji, I committed mistake in speaking the first query. Please use English, sir. We are using English. Second is from Mr. D. Surinder. During liquidation process, the MD of the suspended board against whom PAFE IA are filed and pending adjudication has emerged successful bidder in sale as a going concern. What is liquidator expected to do? Amit ji, you can answer, or then I can answer. You are the speaker.
Which question is this?
Okay, I answer. PAFE transaction will go parallel to this proceeding. If he is a SRA, it is against MD. It makes no difference. PAFE transaction adjudication goes parallel to what is there. Okay, next question. Yeah. Abhijit, now you can take the questions, please. Now, Sumit Gupta to everyone. 1626.
Yeah, ma'am, if possible, kindly share this file. This is okay. Then 1626. But
हाँ जी,
Sumit,
हाँ जी, yeah.
this is okay. This is only a request. So I think you have already shared how to make a separate balance sheet for each project. I think this also was answered by Mamta ma'am.
नहीं sir,
Ravichandran,
he is asking something when project what is contiguous with Yogechi, we are doing branch wise accounting in many of the cases. You can knock any CF firm, they will help you in making project wise balance sheet.
You are listening to this, sir?
Yes, or you can knock IPA also, they can also help you
I
in making
put that question
project.
and he has answered. Could you?
Which one? Yeah, Srindarji, please carry on, please speak.
yeah. So I think Ravichandran's question with regard to the timeline, 7 days, I think that was regarding the voting time. That also has been clarified. Tripti Agarwal is asking if one FC has more than 66% voting share, then it is possible. I think that she has replied to some questions. Ajay Gulati is asking how many extension. This is also done. There is no limitation. Radhika is asking, ma'am, kindly share the file. Achha, this is also okay. We will also share the slides. Okay. I think there is no question as such. There is one more. Anuradha Bisani is asking. SCC formation takes time from liquidation commencement date. So how do we appoint valuers? Without consultation of SCC within.
So this,
Already replied in chat box.
We have.
I've replied to that.
Okay,
It's actually the current COC which is there. They have to, the first SCC is made of the COC.
correct.
COC members, yeah.
So technically it is, yeah, I think there is no other.
What I found is that I thought Mamtaji's video is missing, but in the background, she was working very hard and replying to all the chat boxes. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I have one question. Sorry to intervene.
Yes, Prashantji, please carry on. It's an
Mamtaji
interactive
and
session.
all learned seniors, that in the case where we are seeking for project-wise resolution plan in the real estate corporate debtor CIRP. So the practical difficulty is that sometime COC should also be then constituted on the project-wise. Otherwise, what is happening here, that majority of the COC may be related to only one project and they might be not having any interest in the other project. That time it would be difficult to vote for resolution of the particular project which is having minority shareholding or voting rights with the COC. So I think one proposal or recommendation should be there from IPA
Very good
regarding reconstitution or constitution of COC on project wise also. So that is,
That's a very
I
good suggestion,
think,
Prashantji. We'll take it up.
yes, so that
We
suggestion
shall
can be.
take it forward. We shall take it forward. And in fact, when the discussion paper came out to be there, this proposal was also there. But, implementing this proposal will require a lot of efforts on the part of regulator. In any case, our job is to recommend. We shall definitely, we are thankful, Prashantji, for enlightening us and making us to, put something before the regulator.
Thank you, and it
Haji.
was very thoughtful session. So thank you, speakers Amit Gupta ji and Mamta ji, and also Manoj Anand ji for your continuous efforts.
Since we are running IPA, we are morally bound. Oh, madam, क्या बात करते हो? You are the rock star. We are always behind. If you ask Amiji also will endorse my view, not your view.
Yes.
You are the flag bearer in our association. She is the secretary and the flag bearer in our association, and highly motivating factor to all the members. I just share it with you. If I don't take any, webinar or something like that in, say, in 15 or 20 days, she will knock me and say, Manoj ji, bahut time ho gaya, ye le lo. And that is the real spirit behind running this IPA. And we love to to be together. And lastly, I would like to say that we welcome all of you as a speaker also, or as a moderator also. I convey this thing in all my meetings at the end also. And if you want to act as a moderator or as a speaker in our IPA webinars, please write to us. You got our the telephone number, and otherwise also the communicate to us. We shall take you as a speaker or as a moderator as per your comfort. Topics IBC, and that too latest development there. Thank you very much. With this note, thank you, Abhijit. Thanks a lot. Looking
Thank you.
very handsome. Mamta ji, thank you very much.
Thank you.
With this
Thank
note,
you.
Yogechi and everybody, especially to Yogechi, who was quite interactive, and Prashant ji for giving suggestion. I thanks Mr. Sanjay, Mr. Dakija, Mr. Ramarao ji, Mr. Neeraj, and Dr. Ibumen also. Thank you very much. With this note, I'm ending.
Thank you.
Thanks a
sir.
lot.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.